Hello, everybody. I'm Matt.
And I'm Maggie.
And we are...
Hopefully Awesome.
That's right. A positive place on the internet where we nerd out about all the geeky things we love. And, of course, today's geeky thing is... Somebody Smallville! Remember the classic song intros for shows?
Yeah.
You know, where they would
the
like...
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a full house. Do, 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 do. Full house. Right?
Yeah.
And there's like, I've got growing pains. La la da 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 la la.
No.
Yeah.
Growing Pains is...
Because family matters. And we'll be perfect strangers. Taking it step by step. We're gonna be a boy meets world. And you know it's two of a kind. You know all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so this is the this is Going Back to Smallville, a weekly podcast where we're talking about Smallville. We do a rewatch week by week, episode by episode, and it's been pretty fun so far, don't you think, Maggie?
Yeah.
Listen, I may be a little bit hyper because 1, I've not had a Coke in 7 days. 2, because this episode is red, and let me tell you, one of the best episodes of all time, Smallville.
Yeah.
Okay? Love this episode.
He acted like a little boy the whole entire time.
The whole time I was like, this shit's fantastic. Oh my God. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. But before we can get there, we got to go back. We got to go back to Smallville. It's going back to Smallville. Not go back to Smallville. Oh well. We'll just leave that. That works. Cheers,
going
everybody.
back to Smallville.
Gotta go back to Smallville.
Bum, bum, ba-na-na-na.
What was that?
Gotta get back in time.
That's not the music. It's ba 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 ba-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
But they got a song.
Gotta go back in time.
Yeah, there's saxophone. Boom, 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 boom. Back in time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What song am I doing?
I don't know.
Tell me, doctor,
Where are we going?
Gotta
this
get
time?
back in time.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
That's the same song.
Yes.
Is it the 50s or
Or
1999? All I wanted to do was play my guitar and sing. Take me away, I don't mind, but you better promise me I'll be back in time. Bum, 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 ba-da. Gotta get back in time. Bum, ba-da-da-da-da. Hello, this episode, Smallville, Season 2, Episode 4, Red. Episode 25 overall. Original air date, October 15th, 2002. Happy Halloween, everybody. Writer, Jeff Loeb. That's right, baby. Jeff Loeb is here. Gotta say real quick, love Jeff Loeb. He became the runner of Marvel's TV shows division before Kevin Feige grabbed it all.
Mm-hmm.
Not that great. They weren't that great.
Yeah.
I mean, Daredevil is fantastic, obviously. We're running through the Netflix stuff. But, I don't know. What was that one? Cloak and Dagger or some shit. I don't know. And then the one where, their parents were bad guys or something. I don't know. All those ABC family shows, it's yeah. But Jeff Loeb, fantastic writer. He once did an episode, I believe, or not episode, a comic of, I think it was Batman Superman, and it was his son, and it was called his son's name, and the 27 or something, and it was all these artists and writers helped make his son's story because his son died of cancer, and so they helped make his story an actual book, and it was about Superboy. And it was really good. Jeff Loeb also wrote Superman for All Seasons, which was partially the inspiration for Smallville. Yeah.
Okay.
Worked on Heroes. Also worked on Heroes. So yeah, Jeff Loeb, great guy. Is that why this episode kicks so much ass? Probably. Imagine if they got Jeff Loeb and Greg Beeman to just fucking murder this series with awesomeness, you know? Like, I don't think we could stand it. I think our eyes would watch it and our brains would melt because it'd be too good. Too good for us.
Oh, gosh.
Directed by Jeff Woolnow. Woolnow? Nah? No? Like dough?
Well, no.
There it is. All right, Maggie, before we dive in, Smallville Red. How happy are you with it?
I mean, really happy about it.
Let me tell you.
I hid my face so many times and screamed.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, man, let me tell you. We're at school, and Pete, Chloe, and Clark are picking up their class rings, everybody. Do people normally get their class rings in sophomore year?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay.
You can get it like at any point. I think maybe whenever I was in school, it was sophomore. Sophomores could start getting some stuff.
What if you got your ring, but then you dropped out? Like,
You're just stuck with
was
it.
it illegal
No.
to wear it?
No.
Did you have to give it back?
No.
I know you bought
paid
it.
for
I
it.
know, but like you didn't earn
It's
it.
like I graduated. I still have a class ring. So.
I don't have my class ring. Wait. I thought you got it for graduating, like to prove you graduated. Like not to prove, but I mean like, you know, like that's why. Not to say like I'm currently in school, right?
I don't know.
I tell you what, you look that up while we're doing this. I'm kidding. Don't actually
Don't do it.
All right. So they're picking up. They're
picking up their class rings that cost way too much money.
When I was typing this in, I apparently missed the CL, so it just says they're picking up their ass rings.
Oh my god.
Chloe wonders. She holds it up to the light. She's like, I wonder if this ruby is real.
Is it real?
And Pete and Clark are standing there, and Clark's like about to hyperventilate. He's so goddamn nervous
because his money that he saved up, it's burning a hole through his pocket.
Yeah, and Pete's like, I thought you and your dad decided you didn't need to get this ring. And Clark's like, it's my money. And he told me it's my choice, so I'm choosing to get the ring. And Pete's like, when he told you it was your choice, that means it's not your choice.
Not your choice.
Yeah. And Clark's like, I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm my own man. And Clark says it's his choice. The money is his, so he's getting it. And he reaches down, grabs his box, puts on the ring, and then all of a sudden,
eyes turn.
Veins. It just,
the veins.
Like, remember when Iron Man at the end of Endgame when he has all the stones, spoiler alert, and then he's like, that's what Clark did, but internally. And then he, his eyes go all red, and he's like, woo. It's like he just did a shot of Coke or something, you know what I mean? You don't do shots of Coke, but...
He smoked a cigarette and took a shot of tequila and he felt alive. That's what it was.
So, meanwhile, we flash over, and Lana is just walking around giving a tour to a new student named Jesse. And Jesse hates Smallville, right? And she's like, Jesus, is there any...
is there anything? Is there anywhere to hang out? Anywhere cool?
In this 2-cow town or whatever? And Lana's like, well, there's a cool coffee shop called The Talon, but I may be biased. I'm part owner.
Oh, what is it? What kind of place is it?
It's at a coffee shop.
Oh.
Jesse, do you not fucking listen?
No, I don't, because I'm my own woman.
Do own women not listen? Is that part of it?
No, that's what makes me such a badass.
Oh, okay. She's like, well, I'll be sure to not stop by.
Yeah.
Clark just fucking hee-haws at it. He's like...
You sound broken.
And the principal, not Quan, walks over and he's like, Jesse, that goddamn outfit. You don't need to be wearing that shit in here. We got the school to have rules now.
Farmer Brown?
This is how we do things in Maine.
Oh, God.
And Jesse's like, I don't understand what's happening, but I'm gonna wear this. Clark's like, sorry, principal, not Quan. Don't mean to intrude here, but I think she looks hot. And you're the last person that should be given fucking advice on what to wear, you piece of shit.
I don't like your rules.
Yeah, so get the fuck out of here, smelly old fuck. The principal's like, well said, Kent. You done said that real well, Kent boy. I tell you what now, Jesse, you don't be packing that up and down tomorrow. You best be wearing the right thing. Otherwise, I'm going to be sending your unfeathered tail down to the gators where they'll be chomping on you. Because this here is Smallville. Then he walks away.
I thought this was Kansas, not Maine.
Listen, Jesse. You don't understand, okay? We had Principal Quan. He was smart. He knew what he was doing, okay? Now we have this guy. Nobody knows his name. I don't even know if he's principal. He just wandered in one day. We all just started listening to him. So I don't know. He lets us come half day on Fridays, so we just go with it.
Oh my God.
And then he seemed down there. I was like, now get on down there, boys. You don't go get out there. They're like, Jesus. And then Jesse's like, bye, Clark. And everyone's like, Jesus, what did Clark, what crawled up his butt and made him cool, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a phrase. But then we flash over to Metropolis. And there's a U.S. Marshal, Ted Palmer. He's questioning a teen boy in a bath. He's like, hey, little boy in a bath. Have you heard from Jesse anytime soon? He's like, hey, man, I don't like you being in here, mister. I don't even know you. He's like, have you heard from Jesse?
I'm a U.S. Marshal.
I'm a U.S. Marshal. My name's Ted Palmer. My brother is a principal in Smallville. Right. He's like, okay, shit. Yes, I heard from Jesse. She called me. She's in Kansas.
Multiple payphones.
Yeah, check my phone bill. And he's like, all right, you little boy. You listen, you play with your rubber duckies. And gotcha. He thought I was going to shoot you, but I didn't. I'm going to throw this fucking radio in here. I'm going to electrocute you. Bye, bitch. And then the little boy drowns. Like, I'm calling him a little boy. He's
calling him a little boy.
He's a college man.
Yeah,
he's in college. It wasn't a bath. It was like a hot tub or something.
It was one of those baths that athletes get in after they practice and play a game.
A boy bath.
No, it wasn't a boy bath.
Somebody save me. After school outside, Clark is trying to convince Pete to go to the Wild Coyote. Not the Coyote Wild. They were very clear about this being called the Wild Coyote. They did not want to be sued for copyright infringement.
Pete, we could go to the Coyote Wild.
Pete, you want to? No, Pete, no.
Sorry.
It's the Wild Coyote.
The Wild Coyote, Pete. And I heard they serve alcoholic drinks.
Pete's
to
like,
people under 21.
I don't know what's gotten into you, man, but listen, that sounds great for this weekend, but tonight I gotta study. And
aren't you coming to the cram session?
And Clark's like, studying. Jeez, Pete. Almost said the other name, but I remembered, even in my red gaze, I remembered to only call you Pete.
Yeah.
No, we don't say it.
We don't say it at all.
Smelly. And so Pete agrees. And then Jessie walks over. She's like, hell yeah, I heard I stopped by there on the way into town into the Wild Coyote. And it sounded pretty cool. And Clark's like, well, shit, yeah, that sounds great. She's like, hey, if you've been planning on going over there, give me a call.
Yeah,
she jots down her digits, right? And then Clark looks down at it, and it says, 555 1234 love Jess, right? Wow. And then it goes, that's the power of love. And then Clark puts on his sunglasses and skateboards, right? But before he does that, Lana walks over.
Well, doesn't Pete say beforehand? He's like, isn't Clark Kent married to Lana in his brain? And
Clark's like,
it is what it is, man.
Daddy's got to eat. And then Lana walks over and she's there, and she's like, oh, wow, Clark, it looks like you and Jess are making fast friends. And Clark's like, Lana, I only got eyes for you. And Lana just does that like blush thing, And then she's like, so are you all still heading over for the cram session tonight at the Talon? And Clark says, if she's there, he'll be there. Yeah! CIS.
Put those together. The sunglasses.
Yeah, sorry. If I had glasses, it probably would have worked a little bit better. So now we skip on over to the Kent farm, and Jonathan is working on his motorcycle that we've seen all of this episode once.
Oh, no. He had the parts on the table back in season 1.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was cleaning the parts, and Martha said, "You better get those off of my table."
Wait, was that when you had the Nicodemus flower?
I think so, maybe.
How interesting. So he's working on his motorcycle, right? Martha's there. She's talking about the bike too. And, she's like, "Hey, when you going to give me a ride?" And Jonathan's like, "We don't have to wait for the motorcycle. Be ready, Martha."
You're gross.
Then Clark super speeds in. He's like, "Oh, sorry, don't mean to interrupt anything, guys." And Jonathan's like, "Boy, where you been at? Aren't you got chores to do?" And Clark's like, "Dad, I can do that in like 4 fucking seconds. Get off my ass, you bitch." God.
Whoa, hey, now don't talk to your father.
Shrugs it off, and Jonathan sees Clark's ring, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I see your ring. I thought we decided not to get that." And Clark says that it was his decision to make, and he's sick of worrying about every goddamn nickel and dime around here. Wow. And he storms off. He's like, "Fuck you, Dad. Fuck you, Mom," and leaves, right? And Jonathan's like, "What the fuck was that?" Martha's like,
"Teenage
I
rebellion.
think our not so normal son is experiencing some normal teenage rebellion." And reminds Jonathan that, I once remember a certain Johnny boy getting a motorcycle when his daddy told him not to do that either.
What are you talking about?
Don't you tell me my business, devil woman. You stay out of it, Martha. You don't know. Shit, that boy's done. I'm going to have to send him down to the Gators.
You picked me up on it, Jonathan.
I can pick you up again if you want me to. Now we move over to Lex's. Lex walks into his office being completely redone by blind Lionel. God, it makes me laugh every time. And Lex like, "What the fuck is going on in here? What is this?"
I had to get things to my liking, son.
Yeah, his dad like, "Nah, I don't like this." And Lex like, "Fuck you, Dad. No, I expect to be respected in my own home. You don't just come in here and start changing things willy-nilly." And Lionel's like, "I'm blind. I should have a bit of niceness to me because I'm blind, Lex. I'm blind." And he walks away, right? And then Lex is like, "Give him whatever he wants."
Yeah,
That's
do it.
fine,
Whatever he says.
Whatever this giant steel beam is. I have no idea what it's for.
It looks like scaffolding.
Yeah, but you don't climb on it, so I don't even know. I don't even know what it was
And
for.
he can't even see it, so what's the point of it?
That's where I'm at. So next we flash over to the Wild Coyote.
Oh!
I like it. And so Ted walks in and he's like, Hey there, partner. You don't see this done here, this girl over here now. You don't see her?
What's it to you? What's it for me?
Oh, yeah, well, she's 18, and I think we both know the rules for underage drinking. Show you my badge. Here, you take this picture, and if she doesn't call you back, you don't let me know now, Dad, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'll be back.
You're adding in a lot of words where they don't.
Yeah, dude, don't you be telling me now don't to add no don't words.
All right, sir.
So now
I'll do that.
That night at the Talon, Clark arrives late while everyone is studying. And Clark walks in and comes waltzing in there like, it's like a kid being drugged into J.C. Penney's to pick out some fucking Bugle Boy jeans. He's just like, "Fuck, Mom. Can I go over to Sears where at least I can look at the Nintendo 64? Shit." I'm sorry, that may have been a personal experience I'm drawing on. And so he walks in, bored as fuck, right? And he's like, "Hey, guys." He flips his chair around backwards. That's how you know he's a badass,
Yeah.
Pulls an AC Slater, right? He's got his chair around backwards. And he's like, "Guys, what are we doing?" And they're like, "We are studying." And he says,
we got to cram.
I see that. Studying's boring. We're in high school. We're supposed to have fun. This is not fun. And they're like, well, I don't know what makes you think that you can pass tomorrow without studying, but we got to cram. And he's like, nah, get the fuck out of here. And Lana and Chloe's like, we're going to get some coffee. And I'm getting you decaf, Chloe says. Ha ha, ba-dum-bum. And so Clark and Pete are just sitting over there. And Clark's just kind of looking over there at Chloe and Lana. He's like, hey, Pete, did you know Chloe has a birthmark on her cheek? And Pete's like, no, she doesn't. He says, not that cheek. Huh? Boner alert. Boners.
Clark, I can't believe you're doing that.
He's like, dude, that's Chloe that you're scoping out. He's like, it's not just Chloe. Oh, shit, dog. Pete is mortified. And Pete says he's happy to go out this weekend, but tonight he has to study. And then Clark's like, tell you what, when y'all grow a fun bone, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go out on the town and fuck around. Peace out, fuckers. You got cheesy blasters. And
hey, that's my...
runs away.
That's my saying.
Everybody that's cool says it, Maggie. All right. Pete started something that he can't so easily stop. Okay. It's taking over the town like wildfire. So the next morning we're at the Kens, right? Jonathan receives a call. They're like, ring, 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 ring. Hello.
Mr. Kent, is this you?
Yes, ma'am.
We have some purchases on your credit card that seem very suspicious.
What do you want, Martha? No, blueberry syrup. Fuck. Sorry about that, ma'am. Now, what about my goddamn credit card? What, are you trying to offer me something?
No, sir. There have been suspicious purchases on.
What do you mean by suspicious?
Like these are things that you wouldn't buy, sir. These are not part of your regular.
Like what?
Like a Sea-Doo.
A fucking Sea-Doo? Who the fuck would need a Sea-Doo in Smallville?
TV satellite.
Doesn't that take a long time to get installed and set up correctly?
Multiple speakers and amplifiers.
Wait. That don't sound right. Listen, I'm going to go check on it.
And
okay.
also TV, sir? Sir?
Hello?
Sir?
Hello?
Sir? Did you buy these things?
Fuck you!
My God.
It's like, Martha looks over at the window and she looks back at Jonathan. She's like, Jonathan, when did we get a satellite dish put in? Bum, bum, bum. Jonathan and Martha walk into the barn and they find the most random expensive shit ever. We got a Sea-Doo. Yeah. We got like a crossbow, maybe.
Kayak.
We got a kayak. We got like that thing where like you're in a giant ball and you're rolling around and then you roll it into a bunch of giant bowling pins. We got some sumo wrestling gear.
Yeah.
We got basically, if you've ever seen Blank Check,
that's what it is.
It's that, but with Clark, right? And then those parents walk up, and the music is just like
twisted metal.
You be Clark and Martha, or Jonathan and Martha.
Clark.
Huh? What?
Clark.
Can't you see I'm watching Titans on DC Universe online? Shit. They're like, what are you talking about? He's like, don't worry about it. You wouldn't understand. It's a secret. And then Jonathan's like, what the fuck is all this shit? And he's like, stay off my case, Dad. God.
I just got the things that I always wanted.
I got the stuff that everybody else has. So Pete has a fucking Sea-Doo. Fuck you, Dad. Fuck you, Dad.
Everybody else I know has nice things. Why can't I have some of them?
Like, well, Clark, but you went behind our back and you stole from us. Like,
use your credit card.
Big picture, huh? I mean, come on. We don't even have to pay for it right away. Jesus, fuck, Dad. God, fuck you, Dad.
Good God, Clark.
He's pissed,
chill,
man. He's
chill
pissed.
Off.
He's pissed.
Chill out,
and then
man.
They're like, listen, we're really upset by this. And Clark throws on his leather jacket over his green shirt. And he's like, yeah, you're really upset by it? Well, guess what? Fuck you. I'm out of here. Leaps out of the barn, falls on his dad's motorcycle. Now Clark is in 1885.
Wow.
I can't talk. On the road. I'm sorry. On the road, Jessie is walking to school, and her dad is literally driving directly beside her, doing 4 miles an hour at most. I'd say, honestly, he's probably got it in first, and he's just got it in
coast.
Yeah. You know, he's just nothing. He's not putting any pressure on the gas.
Get in the car.
Like
you're dressed too
honestly,
obvious.
I have expected him to turn on the radio and hop out and start ghost riding the whip. You know, just being like, Kiki, do you love me? Are you honey? And then he's like, come on, Jesse, see, I'm hip, I'm cool, I can do things.
God, Dad.
She's like, fuck you, Dad. And then, oh, what's that in the distance? Clark pulls up, back from 1885. He's got a cowboy hat. The Smallville ravine is now known as Eastwood Ravine. And he's like, howdy, partners. Hey, Jesse, I need a ride. And Jesse's like,
I want to ride.
yeah, let me ride, Clark. And Clark's like, all right, Jesse, let's ride.
And Jesse's dad's like, Jesse, no.
Wait, keep beating her down.
Jesse, do you know what kind of trouble we're in, Jesse?
We arrive at school. Clark's driving on the sidewalk. Lots of sound effects in this episode. Clark is driving on the sidewalk because he's a fucking badass. All right, he don't follow no rules, especially the rules of the road. Fuck your sidewalks, everybody. And he just drives through, and everybody's like, holy fuck, who's that cool guy? And they're like, oh my god, is that Kid? Oh, fuck, what the fuck, Kid? Kreuk's a badass.
Farmer boy Kid always listens to his daddy.
Yeah, Kid, I was at your party, man. I threw up in your bowl party, man. And then he kicks the kickstand down. Jesse pomps off, and she's like, thanks for the ride. And Clark's like, and Lana comes over and she's surprised at Clark, and Clark's like, hey, Lana. And Lana's like, I didn't realize you and Jesse were giving each other carpool lane or whatever. And Clark's like, oh, don't worry, don't be jealous, Lana, I'll give you the ride back. And she's like, why do you keep making that noise? And he's like, what noise? And she's like, you know that. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll make you make a noise. She's like, okay, I'm going to class now. And Clark's like, whatever. And he gets off the bike, and he's looking all cool in his leather jacket, listening to White Snake.
And who shows up on two wheels? The Duke boy.
Hey,
Jonathan Kent.
Clark, you get your ass over here, son.
No, Dad, I'm not going to listen to you.
Fuck you, Dad. You're not my dad.
He
doesn't say that yet.
No. I'm stronger than you.
He's like, listen, Clark, you need to come. We need to talk.
How about no?
And he pushes him into the fucking truck, and Pete's like, what the fuck, Clark? Shit. And Pete walks over there to try and help up Mr. Kent. And Clark has like this moment of realization that like maybe he took it a step too far, but he shrugs it off and walks away anyway. And then Pete helps up Jonathan. And that's a commercial break. Jeez. So now we're back at the Kents. And Martha is patching up Jonathan from Clark's hit. Jonathan's got his shirt off. And man, let me tell you, who skipped ab day? Because it was definitely Jonathan Kent. He was like, oh, I got to do a shirtless scene? That's fine. Let me drink a couple of these Budweisers real quick.
Good God.
Hey, man, like, don't get me wrong. He doesn't look bad. But, like, nowadays, anybody who's doing a shirtless scene, they're like, I got to look like fucking Channing Tatum or something, Like, you got even Paul Rudd, Ant-Man over there looking jacked as fuck, And Jonathan Kent, he's like, I'm good. I don't care. I prefer the Jack Black look. And then Martha's patching up Jonathan, and they theorize that perhaps the development might be making his attitude more extreme because, since Clark goes through things and it's more extreme because he has like powers and stuff, perhaps his, growth will be more extreme as well. And they plan on getting Pete to help Clark come to his senses.
Yeah.
So now we're back at the Talon. Clark walks in, and he's like, hey, Lana.
Hey, baby.
Wait, is that Lana?
No, it's Clark. Hey,
he's
baby.
like, hey, babe. Listen, why don't we go dancing tonight? Lana's like,
are you asking me out on a date?
He's like, listen, Lana, I've always had feelings for you, and I know you've always had feelings for me. So how about we cut the fucking shit and just fucking do this thing? Let's get down and dirty, baby. And Lana's like,
you're making that sound again.
And she's like, so we're going to be honest with each other? And he's like, sure. And she's like, okay, well, what really happened in the tornado? And he's like, we'll get there. But listen, I want to take you out, baby. Talk to me, baby. And then he grabs her and kisses her. And for some reason, she's down to clown, man. She starts kissing him back. And they're like, oh, fuck. I don't know what's going on. Did we just... This is bad. I shouldn't say this. Well, it's like... I can't say it. What is like, did I just...
No.
Did I just fall in a swamp because it's wet down here? That's the one agrees to go with Clark. So now, well, I was like, I've talked a lot about men's things, right? Let's get it from the woman's point of view, you know? All right, so we're at the torch. And we're moving on. I'm moving on. We're at the torch. Chloe finds out the rings are not ruby, but are a variation of the meteor rock. Pete's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Chloe? Everybody knows meteor rocks are green. This ring is red, Chloe. And Chloe's like, yeah, I know, Pete. Fuck. But look at this. This one over at Clark's farm or Blarp's farm or whatever.
Some kind of swamp.
Yeah, we're at the swamp where Lana fell in earlier. Note the red vein. And Pete's like, yeah, I don't know about some red veins, but don't worry about it. Oh, shit. So that's a meteor rock in there? Oh, fuck. I got to go. Bye. And he speeds off. I think he takes the rock with him.
Yes, he takes the meteor rock.
Chloe's like, what the fuck? He just stole from me.
He took my evidence.
And so he runs off. And so now we're at Lex's. Mm-hmm. And Clark walks in. Yeah. And he's like, hey, Lex, I thought to come hang out here, but it's Snoozeville. And Lex is like, yeah, Clark, my dad, he's just made himself at home. And he turns around and he sees Clark wearing his new outfit, which involves a long black coat.
Expensive coat.
Yeah.
That's what caught Lex's eye.
Oh, okay.
That's why he said, yeah, why are you showing up in an $800 coat, designer coat?
He's like, I didn't know an $800 coat came with a backbone. He's like, fuck you, Lex. Like, Lex looks at him in the way that, like, an older brother looks at you when, like, you first start, like, styling your hair. Yeah. You know? And it's like, no, you fucking pathetic. You're
did it
pathetic.
Too much.
Yeah, and they're like, fuck, you ain't never gonna get laid. Yeah. And it's like, well, fuck you, Andy and Billy. I did get laid, right? Anyway. So moving on. That was, I don't know. That was a different show. It was a different show.
God, breathe.
So Clark,
you're wheezing.
Clark is like, hey, Lex, I got a hot date tonight. Can I use the Ferrari?
And with Miss Lana Lane?
He's like, I don't think, Lana doesn't seem to be the type that would be into, like, fancy cars. Yeah. And Clark is like, oh, come on, Lex, let me use it. I mean, you got to just ask yourself, who's more responsible than Clark Kent anyway? And then Lex is like, I don't know. It's a pretty nice piece of machinery. And Clark's like, yeah, I know, but you can trust me. It's not like I'm going to drive it off a bridge or anything. Ooh, go get fucked.
You need a Band-Aid for that burn?
Fuck you, Baldy. And then Lex is surprised at the comment, right? So now we're at the Wild Coyote. Did you get stuck in a trap or something?
Yeah.
So Clark and Lana walks in. And I'm going to read this verbatim. Clark looks like a big dork with cut off sleeves. He does.
He does.
Like, and I feel like they folded his hair in such a way that it almost looked like he had a mullet going on. I was like, why the fuck does he look like he just listened to Achy Breaky Heart or some shit?
Because he's at the Wild Coyote.
Yeah, no, God. Like, I know this is Smallville, but fuck, have some goddamn dignity, Clark. Fuck. And so Lana walks in. She's dressed nice for a date, you know. Yeah. She's got makeup on, her hair done, you know. She looks like she's wanting to have a good night with Clark, right? And then Lana is like, I don't know, Clark, this doesn't really seem like our kind of place. Clark's like, no, this is great. Let's get some beers. You want some beers? And Lana's like, I don't drink, Clark. And since when do you drink? He's like, get some beers. So then Jess turns around and she's like, hey, you getting some beers? I'll take a beer and maybe a dance too. And Clark's like, what? It's like the mask, right? His eyes pop out. He's like, right. Yeah. Daddy's got to eat. No. And then Lana's like, yeah, I wanna get out of here. And Clark he's like, well, just hang on, Lana. All right, I'll be back. I'm gonna go dance real quick. I'll be right back. And Lana's like, no, Clark, I want you to take me home. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Clark's like, come on, Lana. And then 2 goons walk over. They're like,
you heard her.
Hey, there problem here, miss? There problem here, miss?
You got a twitch?
they're like, what?
You look like a chicken.
I know. That's the point. They look stupid anyway. And Clark's like, no, there ain't no problem here. And they're like, I asked the lady, and he said, well, you're about to ask my fist. Ah! Ka-chow! Boom!
And he just went flying through the stage.
And then Lana's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And then the bartender comes over and he's like, that's it, son. 3 strikes and you're out. And he's got this baseball bat, and Clark's like, I'll show you who's out. Sets the bat on fire in front of everyone. Everybody's just like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah,
Nobody thinks anything.
Caught on fire.
And he like kicks the fucking bartender in the gonads, right? And then the bartender's like, oh, fuck my beans. First the beanery and now this. And then a bunch of other people come in, and then the guy's like, oh, hey, that's that girl. I better call that guy, Ted. Let him know she's here. Yeah. And then Jesse realizes what's going on. She's like, Clark, you got to take me out of here. I got to go. And he's like, let's fucking go. And he's like, does anybody else want a piece?
No.
Fuck you.
Get out of here, you loser.
So we get to the next morning. We're at the Kents. And Clark is packing his bags into the Ferrari because he's going to leave. Jonathan and Martha are over there, and they're trying to tell Clark about the red meteor rock and it affecting his mind. Like, son, listen, that ring on your hand, it's red meteor rock. The green meteor rock affects you physically. The red affects you mentally. You don't need to be wearing that. Yeah. It's bad for you. Can't you see that that's causing everything that you've been doing? And he's like, oh my God, this is what's making me feel this way? And I'm like, yeah, son, no, come on, we can get it taken care of. And he's like, nah, get it taken care of. I'm never taking it off. Yeah, I wish I'd found it sooner. And then he's like, I'm out of here. I'm out of Snoresville. I've got bigger plans. See, the world, it ain't ready for me now, you see. It's going to be Matt's town or Clark's town.
Rumpelstiltskin?
Because all magic comes with a price. And so Clark says he wishes he found it sooner. He'll never take the ring off now, and he leaves. And so we're at Lex's, and Clark walks in. And he's like, Lex, I'm going to need to keep the car a little bit longer. And he's like, oh, what's going on? He's like, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Me and my girl, we're packing up. We're gone. And he's like, you and Lana are heading somewhere? And he's like, no, not Lana. Got this new girl, Jess. She's great. You'll love her. And Lex is like, well, that seems a bit sudden, Clark. And he's like, Clark's like, you know what, Lex? You have no idea what I'm capable of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right. When the world can see what I can do, the world is my oyster, and I'm going licking.
You don't lick oysters.
Lex is like, you don't lick oysters. And Clark's like, I've only ever ate beans, okay? I've lived in Snoresville. I've never had oysters before, Lex. But you get what I'm trying to fucking say.
Corn. I've had every variation of corn.
And Lex is like, I am intrigued, Mr. Fletcher. He's like, tell you what. I don't need to be here either. Maybe me and you head out together. We can go to my place in Metropolis. Clark's like, that's perfect.
The things that we could do.
And Lex is like, yeah, I got some loose ends to tie, but then we're gone, baby. And Clark's like, Clark Kent and Lex Luthor. I like the sound of that. And then Lex leaves. And so now we're at the Talon. And Chloe asks Lana about how her date with Clark went. And Lana says it didn't. And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, can you call it a date if the man leaves with another woman? And she's like, well, you just got bumped from the gossip column to front page. And Lana just kind of looks at her. She's like, sorry, once the glib starts going, it just keeps going. Oh.
God, you nerd.
So Lana's like, yeah, I don't know. She's like, it sucked, you know? I liked Clark's openness and thought maybe he could tell her all the things that old Clark wouldn't. But then, it just wasn't working, Mm-hmm. And then behind somebody's like, miss, over here. And so Lana's like, hang on, I'll be right back. Walks over there, starts pouring coffee, and it's fucking Ted. And he's on the phone. He's like, yeah, thanks. And he's like, oh, hey, did you get the address of those tags I got you? Oh, yeah? Off the Ferrari? Yeah. Oh, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Bump, closes it, right? So then we go over to the Kents, and Jonathan and Pete are clothed in shadows, right? And Jonathan's got his hand on Pete's, shoulders and like, now, son, you know what we got to do. And Pete's like, I don't know if I could do this, Mr. Kent. I don't know if I could do this, Mr. Kent. Pete, he's not thinking right. All right, we got to do this. Okay. And then in walks Lex, and he's like, all right, get the fuck out of here, Pete. God, just take a bath. Shit. I know I can't call you smelly anymore, but just fuck, God, just get out. And Lex walks over, and Jonathan's like, listen, hey, Lex, now's not a really good time. Lex is like, I know, Mr. Kent, but I wanted to talk to you about about Clark and your all's, relationship. And Jonathan's like, listen, I don't want you butting in on this, all right? Like, you need to respect that this is a family matter and leave us alone. And Lex is like, Family Matters, love that show. But I would butt out of it, except Lex is me and Clark is at my house right now. And he's talking about leaving, and I just think that I should try and not do that. And Jonathan's like, oh, he's at your house right now? And he's like, yeah. And then we cut over, we're at Lex's. We're at Lex's, and Clark is still waiting on Lex. He's just shooting some pool by himself at a leisurely pace. He's not even doing like super pool or nothing. And blind Lionel walks in. And he's like, hello?
Is somebody there?
Is anyone there? Hello? I'm blind Lionel. Is anyone there?
I'm gonna bite your hand.
Clark comes over, and he's like, he doesn't say anything. He's like, who's there?
Yeah, and he's like playing around with it.
He grabs his glasses, and Lionel starts swinging his cane back and forth like he thinks he's goddamn Daredevil at this point. Yeah. And Clark's like, hey, Lionel, why don't you get the hell out of here? Nobody wants you here. And Lionel's like, wow, that was very rude. And he says, no one wants you here. Get the hell out. And Lionel says, Clark, you're very rude, but you speak your mind, and that'll get you far. Who are you? And Clark tells him, I'm Clark Kent. And he says, oh, yes.
Jonathan and Martha's son?
I'm surprised they would raise such a rude piece of shit like you. And Clark says, yeah, well, me and Lex, we're leaving. We're on our way to the top. So don't even worry about it. And Lionel's like, okay. But then in walks Ted. And he's like, yeah, Mr. Kent, I need to talk to you about a girl you were with last night at a bar. And Lionel says, oh, was that on a pit stop on your way to the top? And like Clark just looks at him. He's like, you fucking shit. Fuck you. And Lionel's like, I may be blind, but I still got it. Fucker. And then Clark's like, listen, Ted, fuck off. I'm not talking to you about nothing. And Ted's like, oh, yeah? Who's got a fucking gun now? And Clark's like, fucking please, get the fuck out of here. And he super speeds over there, grabs the gun, and blind Lionel's like, what? What was that? And Clark's like, don't worry about it. Shoots his hand. And he's like, don't worry, Lionel. He missed. Oh, no. Right. Yeah. And then Clark speeds Ted over against the wall and slams the pool table against him. And he's like, what's going on? And he's like, why do you want Jesse? And he's like, well, listen, I've been paid $1 million by his former employer to put him down because he's got these discs and they want these discs back and they want her and him killed because they know too much about it. And he's like, listen, why don't you help me do it? We could split the money 50-50. And Clark's like, split it. Who needs you? Bop. Yeah. Knocks him out, right? So now we go over to Jesse's house because Jesse's house is where it is about. That was terrible.
That's where the conclusion happens. At Jesse's house.
It's got a bigger house. So Clark arrives and she's like, all right, Clark, I'm ready to go. And he's like, not so fast, sweetheart. Listen, there's been a change of plans. Yeah. Where's the discs? She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, where the fucking discs, Jesse?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, I bet you don't. And then Ted walks in from the back door. And Clark's like, how the fuck did you get here? And Ted's like, come on, Clark, listen, we could be in this 50-50. And Clark's like, dude, I knocked you out. How the fuck? And then all of a sudden, Ted's fucking dead. Right? He's just dead because he got gunned down by Jesse's dad. And Jesse's dad then turns the gun towards Clark. He's like, I don't want to hurt you, son. And Clark's like, don't worry, you won't. And then Jesse takes off, right? And he's like, where are the goddamn discs? Jesse's dad. And he's like, I don't know.
There's somewhere where you can tear this house up, tear up the floorboards, even kill me. You'll never find those discs.
And he's like, well, then let's get started. And he starts like pulling shit over, and then he's like, And the guy's like, you're never going to find them. And he's like, Jesse has them. So he runs off, right? And trying to find Jesse. So now we're in a cornfield. And Jesse's running from Clark. And it's like fucking Jeepers Creepers in this place, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't know where's somebody going to come out. Is it signs? Yeah. Is it children of the corn? What's going to happen, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Clark arrives. And she's like, Clark, please don't hurt me. Here, you can have the disc. He's like, fuck you, Jesse. And then what? Wow, wow, wow. Pete shows up. And he's like, hey, Clark, let her go. Just let her go. And Clark's like, you can't. Pete, what are you doing? You can't stop me. And he's like, just go, Jesse. Jesse runs off. And he's like, Pete, how far do you think she's going to get? A mile, 2 miles? You know that's nothing for me.
Yeah.
And Pete's like, I'm sorry, Clark, but I love you and I don't want to see you like this anymore. I'm sorry. Yeah. Opens up the lead box. Kryptonite, the green variety. And Clark's like, thank you, Pete. Oh, God. And then Jonathan walks out with a fucking sledgehammer.
This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, son.
And Clark's like, fuck you, Dad. And he starts to like lift his fist. And Jonathan brings the hammer down on the ring. And the hammer is a hammer. It's not anything else. It's not a figurative hammer.
But
it's
the ring shatters.
Shatters into 100 pieces, right? And then Clark returns and everyone's like, Dad, is that you?
Daddy?
And Jonathan's like, don't worry, Clark. You're okay. Everything's safe now. Back here on the Kent farm. And Clark's like, the Kent farm? And he's very confused. So now we go back to Lex's. Lionel realizes everything he wants in the office is gone. And Lex is like, you know what, Lionel? Fuck you. I'm going to tell you something that you told me when I was going through my own shit. You know, when I was a bald-headed fuck of an 8-year-old, right?
Oh, you're just going to remind me that I'm a horrible father that never paid any attention to you.
And he's like, well, not this time. Actually, I'm going to tell you what you told me, and that is stop feeling bad for yourself. And Lionel looks at him with a smirk, and he says, so the father becomes the son. And Lionel then mentions that, you have a very interesting friend, Clark Kent. And he's like, yeah, stay the fuck away from Clark, you piece of shit. And I was like, yeah, he's very interesting. And in his hands, he's got the 3 smashed bullets. So we go over to the Kents. And Martha and Jonathan are quietly putting dinner together. And Clark walks in, and everybody's just really quiet. And he's like, so, Ma, Pa, it looks like Jesse and her dad have left town. And he's like, I'm really sorry about all the things I said and did. And Jonathan's like, we know you're sorry, Clark. We accept your apology. But I believe that those feelings had to come from somewhere. And Clark's like, I admit that sometimes I have those feelings about, wanting things. I didn't think it really bothered me that much, but every once in a while it does. But then when that does happen, I think about what really matters. And that's you guys, and that's my friends and everything. And it's not that big a deal. And Clark says as soon as he put on the ring, it's just like all of that I used to keep myself centered just went away, right? And it's like I wanted to share my secret with the entire world. Mm-hmm. And part of me still feels that way. And he's like, it almost feels like I'm 2 different people. And, there's a part of me that just will always want to share my truth with everyone. And then they're like, well, fuck, don't do that, obviously.
Dude, don't do it. So
we cut over to the horse range. I don't know, James Blunt is playing or something. And no, not that one, a different one. And I don't even know. I don't know. And Lana is riding her horse. She sees Clark. She comes over, and Clark's holding some flowers. And he's like, hey, Lana.
Hi, Clark.
And she's like, oh, are those flowers for me? He's like, yeah, I just wanted to apologize for everything. I wasn't being myself. And she's like, oh, so I'm just supposed to accept your apology and the flowers and just forget about everything? And he's like, I know, it wasn't me. I can't really explain it. And Lana's like, well, so if it wasn't you and you didn't mean anything you said, does that also include when you said you liked me? And Clark just kind of has his head down. And she's like, you can't have it both ways, Clark. Either it was you or it wasn't you. And Clark's like, I don't know what to say. And then Lana's like, I'll see you later, Clark. She rides off.
Flips him off.
We got a helicopter shot, and it's like, the end. That's right, everybody. That is the end of this episode. But before we move on, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by patreon.com/hopefullyawesome.
That's right. At the $5 tier, you can have access to every episode we make ad-free and have your name listed in the credits of every video. At $10, you'll be able to get access to our all-new exclusive shows right here on patreon.com/hopefullyawesome. Those include Hopefully Weekly, a weekly show where Maggie and I catch up on all the things that's happened over the past week, both in our life and in the world around us. Family Game Night, a weekly show where Maggie and I will play a variety of board games, from Blockbuster Party Game all the way to Fast and the Furious Heist Game, whatever that is.
Highway heist.
The Hopefully Awesome movie commentary that we'll do once a month, where Maggie and I will watch one of our favorite films and then record us talking about it over it. Kind of like a mix between Mystery Science Theater 3000 and, just us goofing off and talking about nothing related to the film. And lastly, Matt plus Maggie. This is our monthly show where Maggie and I talk about our relationship. I don't think we'll be giving any advice, but hey, tune in. It'll be fun. And if you want to go above and beyond at the $25 level, not only do you get everything that we've just talked about, but you also get a verbal shout out as our Patreon producer of the entire month. All this and more.
So sign up at patreon.com/hopefullyawesome today.
And we're back. So Maggie, how did you feel about Red?
I really liked it, but half the time I was screaming at Clark.
It was so hard to watch sometimes. Like, it was great.
Screaming.
Like, I loved it's okay. Like, it's a twofold problem, right? I love when Clark has the confidence, right, to put himself out there. When Clark is able to be free and to have fun, because like most of the time we see Clark, he's
miserable.
Yes,
half the time.
And like just the weight of this world is on his shoulders. I mean, that's part of his identity, right? And so every once in a while when we get episodes like this, it's just nice to be able to see that other side of Clark that like is the lively, the Superman Clark. You know what I mean? Like when Superman is Superman, he's having a blast. We think about when we watch Superman, the movie, the first one, and like when he's saving everybody in the city and he's just smiling, and he goes and talks to Lois and he can just be who he is,
Yeah.
And so like getting to see Clark not necessarily have to worry about hiding everything. And of course, the Lana stuff. Like, they did it. They've done it. They did it a while ago, but they made me want Clark and Lana together. Like going into this show, I was like, I hate Lana. I hate Lana. Just, it gets so old after a while. And I was like, I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to try and be as positive about the Lana stuff as I can and not just tear it apart every episode. But they got me, man. Like, they got me a while ago with the Lana stuff.
Yeah.
But like, especially now, especially that she's not tied to Whitney in anything anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I really want them together. Like, I want to see them both be happy because she really likes him.
Yeah.
And I love Clark. I just want Clark to be happy, and he wants Lana.
Yeah.
How did that stuff affect you in this one?
I really liked it. Like, especially when he tells her at the Talon that that hey, we both know, like you like me, I like you, and I was like, oh, okay, be direct, all right. And then they kissed, and I was like, oh, okay, this is happening.
She's down to clown.
Yeah.
And then he had to fucking
ruined it.
And it's like, it sucks because that happened. It's not like that didn't happen. It's not like everybody got amnesia and is gonna forget. Like this, I honestly don't remember how this affects the show going forward. But I know that they don't just, this just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, Red Clark, man, love Red Clark. Is this the last time we'll see Red Clark?
No.
Spoiler alert, it's not. And it's great every time Red Clark shows up. Oh my God, favorite episodes. All right, let's move into the time for the countdown to Billy. 67 weeks until Billy arrives.
Heck yeah.
This has been the countdown to Billy. All right. Next up, let's get into our Freak of the Week.
Major Funky.
This week's Freak of the Week is, of course, Red Clark, everybody. Clark finally made the Freak of the Week list. Who would have thought? We had Lana, Yeah.
Give it up.
Give it up for Red Clark. We had Lana last year in Nicodemus, I think. No, Nicodemus was the plant.
Yeah.
Like, that was the freak of the week. Yeah. It was the one where she could see the future. Yeah. And so now we got Red Clark on here. I love it. You love to see it. Current rankings so far, we got at number 3, Jitters 2. At number 2, Nixon Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. And at number 1, Heat Causing Horn Dog. I'm so proud of myself for doing that. Good job, Past Matt. So Maggie, where are we feeling Red Clark?
Number 1.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely, it's number 1. Come on. I don't think he'll be dethroned. There are some great episodes this season. I would be surprised if Red is at least not in the final 4 of our ranking at the end of the year. Not just Red Clark. I don't see Red Clark getting dethroned. Now, it could happen. I don't remember every bad guy this season. But I don't know. Red Clark's pretty top notch, you know. But, you know, honestly, I think Red will probably win. I don't know. There's some really fucking good episodes this season. Like, there's one in particular I'm thinking of, and it's just, God, I can't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Don't want to give it away. So your new number 1 is Red Clark, everybody. Bum, bum, bum. So, current ranking now is
Red Clark at number 1. Number 2, Heat Causing Horn Dog. Number 3, Nixon Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. And number 4, Jitters 2.
All right. Now let's get into No Flats, No Tots today. Break the rule this week, Maggie.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I don't know. You wore like that coat.
That's not tights, Matt.
I was kind of like the black suit Superman.
Matt.
All right. No, they didn't. He didn't, unfortunately. All right. Moving into DC references, part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
You become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it.
That's right. So, Jesse mentions Clark as wearing primary colors. This is a reference to Superman's costume, which is colored red, yellow, and blue, all primary colors. Clark and Lionel share their first scene together in the entire series.
Wow.
Even though Lionel is blonde. I don't know why that was included at the end of that. Wow. This episode is reminiscent of Nicodemus, in which Lana says what she means and does what she wants. But Clark doesn't forget what he does in this episode the way Lana forgot everything she did in Nicodemus. Lana kissed Clark while being affected by the Nicodemus flower, and Clark kissed Lana while being affected by red kryptonite. What Lionel says about Lex at the end of the episode, the son becomes the father, is a direct quote from Marlon Brando's Jor-El in Superman the movie. Martha says, if the green meteor affects Clark physically, maybe the red affects him emotionally. Very similar statement is present in Lois and Clark in the episode where red kryptonite first appears. If green kryptonite affects you physically, it's possible red kryptonite could be affecting you mentally. That's how they said it. Yeah, did you know red kryptonite is in Lois and Clark?
No, I didn't know.
I can tell you, when I went back and watched Lois and Clark, I think it was around probably 2006, because they were really pushing all the Superman DVDs from where Superman Returns came out. And when that episode popped up, I was really surprised. Like, I did not remember that at all.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Lois and Clark. It was great until goddamn Dean Cain sucked. Fucking shit, piece of shit. The green shirt Clark is wearing features a symbol reminiscent of the one on the alien suit from the television series The Greatest American Hero.
Okay.
Believe it or not, Clark's wearing green shirts. I never thought he could look so green. That's the theme song. Chloe says, okay, what planet is this guy from and what did he do with Clark? Because Clark is from another planet. Red Clark says, Clark Kent and Lex Luthor. I like the sound of that. Yeah. A reference to Superman. Okay, that should have been in there. Because, like,
duh.
Clark Kent and Lex Luthor, like, I mean, that's not, like, that's the show, you know? It's like we don't say Metropolis is an Easter egg anytime now. All right, let's get into the talent mix.
Hey, I like these guys. Yeah. Remy Zero.
Unexpected by Sprung Monkey.
Yeah.
Break Off Your Wings by Boss House. American Made by Sprung Monkey. Why is Sprung Monkey on here? Who the fuck is Sprung Monkey? in California by Boss House. I think they had a contract with these people. Breakable by Fisher. It's Time to Party by Andrew WK. Tattoos by Jackpot. Breathe In by Frou Frou. And Stop Crying Your Heart Out by Oasis. That's right, everybody. Oasis. I said James Blunt because I couldn't remember what was playing, but I knew it was like something soft. Yeah. Fuck me though, because Oasis, I should have remembered that. Oasis was fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. I feel like Wonderwall plays at some point. Like they do a couple of they do some bangers, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it. That's the talent. Next week, season 2, episode 5, Nocturne.
Not stuff.
Yes. So Maggie, based solely off of the title, what do you think next episode is about?
Somebody, I don't know.
Oh wait, keep in mind, this episode came out on October 15th, so it would have been the 22nd.
Uh-huh. Well,
I have no idea if that matters.
I mean, that sounds like something like that word.
Nocturne. Like nocturnal.
Yeah.
But just without the ol.
Yeah. So somebody must get powers or something, or, you know, something else happens and like they only awake at night and weird stuff happens like vampires or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Werewolves.
Vampires aren't real, Maggie. This is Smallville. All right, Mr. Kent, vampires aren't real. Yes. Maybe it's a crossover with Buffy. It's not. No, just so we're clear. At some point, and I don't know, I think it was season 3. They did the Birds of Prey series. Yeah. That was tied to like Batman and stuff. Mm-hmm. And there were some slight references between the shows. More them referencing Smallville than Smallville referencing them.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so maybe that'll be a one-off we do where we rewatch fucking Birds of Prey. No, that would have to be like a Patreon goal of like $500 or something to make us do that shit. Holy fuck. No way, man. Not doing it. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Going Back to Smallville. Remember, if you would like to get this show ad-free, you can do that over at patreon.com/hopefullyawesome, where you can also get your name in the credits and exclusive other shows. Be sure to check that out. If this is your first time hanging out with us, hey, welcome to the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure and leave us a rating, a comment, a like, whatever, all of those things. Let us know how you felt about the show, and we will use that to probably make the show a little bit better. But that's going to wrap it up for us this time, everybody. Thanks for watching, and of course, as always,
have a hopefully awesome day.
Bye.